There's only one station to hear the best unsigned artists, WUDG Underground Columbus. We have breaking news. Score on Air is the only place to get all of your sports news and updates. We are the new generation of sports talk radio, The Score.
Polo Kids.
Okay, Polo. Polo Kid.
Designer diva, probably eating sleek Gucci, boutiques and high-end fashion store. I don't need her, and she's the perfect passenger appliance. I just brought her here so she can ride as my diva. She could be my, she could be my diva. She could be my, she could be my diva. Would you be my, would you be my diva? Designer.
Welcome back to the Divas Corner Talk Show with your number one host, Diva Sheeta, in the building this evening. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this short podcast. It's just a 15-minute segment, and tonight we're talking about women in sports. Yeah, that's right. You heard it from your diva here first. Women in sports. And the question of today is, should sports be segregated by gender? Yep, I'm asking it. So hit your girl up, 470-253-4827, and let me know what you think. Men, women, should we divide sports? Should we segregate it, or should we all play together? I want to hear your thoughts as soon as we come back from this commercial break. Growing up in a single-family home, in and out of foster care, can leave a child feeling lonely, unwanted, and with no sense of guidance. I personally know how it feels since I was one of these kids. That was until my big sister Julie stepped in. Julie would pick me up weekly, take me to cook, play, or sometimes we'd just talk. Spending time with a positive mentor made all the difference in my life. That's why I decided to give back and do the same, and so can you. You can provide children facing adversity with strong and enduring, professionally supported one-to-one mentoring relationship that changed their lives for the better forever. Big Brothers and Big Sisters serves over 6,600 children through their mentoring program and an additional 800 through our affiliated agency. Start impacting change one child at a time by volunteering as a Big Brother or Big Sister with the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Ohio program. For more information, visit www.bbbscentralohio.org.
I'm done. I'm done asking for permission. I'm done waiting for someone else to say that I can. I'm done with watering down my truth. I'm done with swallowing my voice. And I'm done with living inside a box that's too small to breathe in. And guess what? The access point out of all of that, it starts with me, and it starts now. I give myself full permission to rise into a whole new space of being in the world, to a new level of honoring my truth, a new level of allowing my wisdom, a new level of dropping into my power, a new level of trusting where my soul is leading me. And I get it, stuff's gonna come up, things will happen, people will say stuff, there'll be times when that noise in my head will scream at me so loud, I'm on the wrong path, it's too hard, I can't do it, I'm not good enough. That noise could get so loud that it's hard to hear my voice. But guess what? Those moments, they're not going to stop me. In fact, they're going to open me up. Every time, they'll remind me, dig deeper. They'll whisper to me, let go, darling, trust, you've got this. In fact, they'll be the moments that lead me to embodying in my bones what I've already known in my heart. Trust, self-compassion, unwavering commitment, and the power of love. And I'll tell you this, there's something they sure as hell won't do. They will not define me. Because you know what? I truly bloody get that everything I want, it all starts with me and my courage to give myself full permission to rise.
If you are just now tuning in and joining me, that was It's Your Time to Rise by Kate Marie O'Brien. So she is a superstar athlete. And part of the reason why I chose this topic tonight is because I think that there, over the past 100 years, have been a lot of advancements in women's sports, but there's also been a lot of disadvantages in women's sport. When we look at pay, when we look at equality, when we look at education and all those things, there's been some leap, but do we really have some more huge leaps to go? And that's why I wanted to ask you tonight what your thoughts were on, should sports be divided by gender? What are your thoughts on that topic? Now, in 1972, Congress passed the Educational Amendments for Title IX, which prohibits discrimination against girls and women in federally funded education. This included the Athletics Education Program Department. So as a result of this, women and girls have benefited from more participation opportunities and more equitable facilities. Women who were under 10 when Title IX passed have much higher sports participation rates than women who grew up before Title IX. 55% of the women of post-Title IX generation participated in high school sports compared to 36% of the pre-Title IX generation. Because of Title IX, more women have received athletic scholarships and thus the opportunity for higher education than would have been possible than otherwise. So this is very important because we look at education as an opportunity. But some of the things that I wanted to look at with women's sports and equality is the structure of the woman body. Is it fair to say that women are incapable of playing men's sports? And then with all the issues of gender fluid and sexuality being a choice and gender being a choice that you can now choose, should we or do we have a fine line when it comes to gender-based sport? Should it really be gender-based? I mean, we're looking at schools who are breaking down bathroom policies and laws, or allowing for like what was it recently, the Girl Scouts to allow boys on there, transgender boys on the Boy Scout. Now I know this isn't in that line, but all these things kind of mesh together. So it just makes you ask the question, are women equipped to be able to play sports with men? And if so, what kind of a sports do you think that women could actually be involved in? I know there's some women who have excelled in sports. You got Danica Patrick. She excelled in auto racing. Kelly Cullick on the Professional Bowlers Association. You got former LPGA champion Anika Sorenstam and Baylor basketball player Brittany Griner. These women, they brought attention to their sports by competing with men or mastering a skill once thought to belong strictly to the male domain, such as dunking on the basketball court. So when we look at those things, are there places for women in the men's league, or should men's league strictly stick to men's league? I mean, we have questionable items like football. I mean, can a woman take a tackle from a 6.5-foot man who is weighing 250 pounds coming directly at her? Do we have the issue of saying that she can't? I mean, for goodness sakes, we have women who can bear children, so can we necessarily say that a woman's body cannot be athletic enough to perform these attributes in men's sports? What about rugby? What about boxing or kickbox? You got wrestling, you got martial arts. These are all physical contact sports. Should women play in sports like that? I want to know what you think about that. Or should we stick to things like darts, where it doesn't necessarily require you to be physically in contact? What about tennis? I mean, that stride has to be strong when you're pushing that tennis bracket, but does it require you to have a separation of gender? Volleyball, badminton, soccer, all these sports, golf, women have made many advancements, and there's been much educational advancement. But has it advanced to the point where we think that gender should no longer be an issue in playing sports? Now, I got some ethical thoughts on the segregation of sports. And this is from a study on the structure of organized athletics today. It says from youth leagues to the Olympics is to see a system that feeds the faulty belief that females can't play as long, as well, or as hard as males. Women's bodies are physically more athletic than men's, and so that women can bear children and men cannot endure such pain and labor. So some of the things that we're looking at is even in women's sports. Say, for instance, men's pro tennis players, they play 5 sets. Women only play 3 sets. And this has been a holdover from 1902 when the U.S. Lawn Tennis Association cut women's play for fear of over-exertion. So is it fair to say, who's calling the shots here, first of all? Is it fair to say that women can overexert themselves by playing sports, yet we can have babies for 24, 48 hours and labor all of this time? Who sets the standards here? Some different things. What are we talking about? A 12-year-old girl who enters a local tournament sanctioned by the U.S. Kids Golf plays only 9 holes, but a boy her age in the same tournament plays 18, regardless of their relative skill or experience. Co-ed sports leagues are rife with special gender rules to accommodate the supposedly weaker female sex. In some basketball leagues, women get 2 points for every basketball. The men just get 1. In touch football, a female touchdown is worth 7 points. A male touchdown earns 6. A 24-year-old who plays on a co-ed softball team recently shared with us her annoyance at rules. No more than 2 men bat in a row. Men hit larger balls, etc., which presume that any male player is better than every female player. Her beef, she played division college softball. Of course, we know there are physical differences when it comes into being a woman and man and the structure of the body, okay? But that's not the biggest issue that we have, and that's one of the things that we want to take a look at. I have some great women named Caster Semenya. So Caster Semenya, she won the gold for South Africa in the 800 meter in this past year's Rio Olympics, and she's considered what they call to be a hermaphrodite, also known as an intersex. So that means that Caster was born that way. And there's also Duty Shan, who is a hyperandrogynous female who was an Indian sprinter. So she had a lawsuit in 2015 for arbitration court for sports. Some of these sports are requiring that the women undergo surgery to lower their hormone levels or have hormone replacement therapy to reduce testosterone levels. I'm sorry, but is that even fair to say to someone who is born as a hermaphrodite or born as hyperandrogynous female that you need to go, undergo surgery to reduce your testosterone levels in order to play in the league? And what determines the basis of transgenders in this newly found situation with all the laws changing and things like that going on? Colleen, you said football and boxing. You would have to say no because personally you tried to fight a man before and was unsuccessful because they were bigger than you were. I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent. My thing is we're not training every day. So no, I mean, if you're not a trained professional, I wouldn't think that you as a person should be out here trying to fight in a boxing ring. But what about the women who actually train in these situations with men? I mean, should they be entitled to not have to be, subjected to restrictions in the sports industry? Does that give people a right to limit what your restrictions should be? I want you guys to give me more information on this. My Facebook page is open. Follow me. Share this post. I'm going to keep it open for discussion. 15 minutes is up. Thank you, Colleen, for your comment. Thank you, Susan, for tuning in. Rochelle, Shalita. I see a lot of you guys tuned in, and I appreciate it. And thank you for taking some time to join me this evening. I really do appreciate it. We're going to be coming back again on another podcast event next week. But I just thought this was a really important topic, and I wanted to share some information with you regarding the legal situations and regarding the ethical situations of sports being divided. Thank you for tuning in with your number one diva this evening. I appreciate you, and you have a great evening.